podcast heroes where we believe typology can save the world. I'm Amanda Fogelson.
And I'm Jessie Miller. And today we are going to take a little bit of time to talk about what the cognitive functions are. So we just wrapped up our series on the cognitive functions. And so we talked about all of them. And then this question I kept getting over and over again was, what are cognitive functions? So today we are going to take just a little bit of time. You guys get like a bonus video so that we can explain what cognitive functions are and what that means, what we are even talking about. So Carl Jung was a psychiatrist and a psychologist who spent his career talking to people and helping them work through complexes. And after he had spoken to all of these people, he started to notice patterns in how they saw information and made decisions. And he also analyzed these patterns in pop culture, so in famous myths and in religious stories. And these are archetypes that he noticed. And from the archetypes, he created this system so people could better understand themselves and others, so that he could help them better work through these problems in this book, Psychological Types. And yes, I have read them both extensively. Come at me. So, in this system,
So aggressive.
he wrote down observations of these patterns and he called them functions. It was not until the 90s that we called them cognitive functions. There's your fun fact for the day. So, throughout time, as this theory has evolved, the patterns have been better understood. And again, people spend a lot of time on the internet arguing about what they all present as. But what is our big argument, Amanda? Why do we do this at all?
It gives us a language to understand each other.
Ourselves and others. So this is what a cognitive function is not. It is not a physical structure. I can't put Amanda in an MRI machine and be like, oh, yes, this is extroverted intuition right here in the frontal cortex. I cannot do that, right? No.
Unfortunately not, no.
You can't.
How cool would it be if you could?
And there is some work, like, I'm not going to bunk what Dario Nardi does with his fMRIs and trying to prove type. I think he's doing something pretty fascinating. However, you still can't say, yes, this is NE right here. You can't do that as of this point in time.
Right. Not right now.
If there is some study out there somewhere that somebody wants to show me, I would love to know where it is. But as of right now, you can't. It is not a magical power. No cognitive function gives you magic. The end.
Nope. Looking at you, I
know.
Looking at you.
It by itself does not make you a good or a bad person. So there's a lot of fights on the internet about extroverted feeling and introverted feeling, which is the more selfish of the two. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. This is a way that you make decisions, but even that, your perceptions work together, your experiences and nurture define you, so you can still alter that. I always say INFJs make the best villains right here because of the way that we can see things and twist them. So it does not make you a good person because of a certain cognitive function. It also does not make you smarter or kinder. And yes, I know, I'm sorry. INTPs, I love you guys so much, and I know that you score really high on the IQ test. But who makes the IQ test, though? I'm sorry. I love you, though. I really do, and you know I do. So those are all the things that a cognitive function is not. So now we're going to talk about what a cognitive function is. Now we're going to talk about what a cognitive function is. So it is a way to understand ourselves and others. It is a pattern of behavior that you do as you go throughout your life. And after you have used this way to look at something or this way to make decisions so many times, it becomes a part of your identity. Which is why we usually say, whether or not you believe that you're born using cognitive functions or you are nurtured into them, they're pretty much set by your time you're a teenager. Your type is set. And I know a lot of people say that you can change your type. However, typically, types cannot be changed.
Okay, so here's the thing. So, yes, that is what we believe. At the same time, your personal experiences can make functions look different than the stereotype. And that's something that we will be going into next. maybe in a few videos, but it's something that I myself experience and I have a very hard time with, if I'm being honest. And 8 out of the 10 people who message us have the same issue. It's a hard time when you have personal experiences that almost go against what your type is. Mm-hmm. It makes it hard. So no, we don't believe that you can change types. We believe that different circumstances and different experiences will
change the way that
yes.
cognitive function presents,
yes.
or that your type presents, because there is such thing as type variance.
Yes.
So the cognitive functions are just a way to categorize your behavior. Mm-hmm. That is what we are talking about. It is a way to give you a word to describe this repeated behavior, and it is a way to describe the patterns in your own life and in the lives of others. Emotional intelligence is so important in modern society, right? So, and that is inarguable. Emotional mm-hmm. intelligence is a vital skill that you need for existing in society and functioning well, right? So just using that example of emotional intelligence, if you only have the word mad to describe when you are upset about something, then that gives you a very limited range to understand your motivations, to understand your problems, to mm-hmm. understand your triggers. But if you know mad versus livid versus disappointed, those are 3 very different ways to experience an emotion. And that is what the cognitive functions give you. They are a way to describe your mental processes, to take ownership of it. Because introverted sensing is incredibly different from introverted intuition. Mm-hmm. And if you can start to understand that people don't see the world like you do, but not just theoretically, oh yeah, people see things differently. If you actually have a way to define those differences between you, it gives you power to understand yourself better and to understand others better.
And this can help in so many different ways. Friendships, marriages, relationships, parent-child relationships, your work. This is huge. You guys, this is huge. If you're in human resources, you have been down the path of some sort of personality test or anything like that for your team. Like, this is huge. It gives us an additional way to relate to each other and a different way for us to be able to communicate to each other. A more, from what we've seen, a more effective way mm-hmm. to communicate with each other.
Because being human is hard.
And this will make it easier.
So thank you for watching our bonus video. Go
like, subscribe.
Jesus. It's a call to action.
It's an aggressive call to action. Yes. Subscribe. You're here. You're watching this video. You can subscribe. It's been right around here somewhere. So just click on it and we'll love you forever. Bye. Bye.
Let's gather around the type fire and sing our type fire song. Our MBTI TYPOLOGY song. And if you feel uncomfortable, then know there's nothing wrong.